Hi, Doug Vairo here, owner of LoanOfficerStore.com. I want to welcome you to my new series, which is going to be Doug Vairo Ask 10 Questions of. I'll have 10 questions that I'll be asking for loan officers, sponsors of my training development platform, which I'll talk about in a moment, and real estate agents that come to the classes. So I've been training for over 20 years. I travel all over the country. Currently, I've been working here in the local New York area. 4 years ago, I started out with zero real estate agents in my database. I now have over 31,000 agents just in the 5 boroughs, and not even including Manhattan and Nassau and Suffolk County. And right now I have approximately 500 to 700 real estate agents that come through my classes on a monthly basis for their continuing education credits. So I have loan officers that come to the classes. The classes are all written and designed to help the real estate agent not only get their continuing education credits, but to learn what goes on in the mortgage business. And it makes a nice little business development platform where the agents get to meet loan officers, the loan officers get to meet the agents, and then in all the classes I have sponsors, whether it's a title company or maybe it's an attorney that does closings. I have insurance companies, Cutco Knives. They all come and they sponsor the classes. So the series that you're going to see here is I'm going to be introducing Doug Vairo, Ask 10 Questions of, and then I'll tell you who the person is. And I hope you enjoy the series. Okay, so welcome again. My name is Doug Vairo, owner of LoanOfficerStore.com. And if you've seen previously, you know I like to do Doug Vairo Ask 10 Questions. And today it'll be 10 questions of Russell Silver. How are you, Russ?
Hey, Doug.
Good to see you. All right. You a little nervous?
Well, I don't know what I'm
You don't know what questions you're going to get, right?
I have no idea what I'm getting into.
All right, good. That's the way it's supposed to be. All right. Look, it'll be mostly softball questions. It'll be pretty simple.
Okay.
Just be honest with your answers about what we talk about. So we'll start off with something very simple. Just tell us what you do.
Sure. I'm a loan officer with Intercontinental Capital Group. I have been I've been in the mortgage banking business for about 20 years as a loan officer, and I also run a team of loan officers.
Okay. I was just interviewing Pam Spencer a little earlier, and she's only 4 years in the business, and she doesn't know some of the things that go on with the ups and downs. But she's been working with you for 4 years. She's learned an awful lot coming to the platform.
Yeah,
but
Pam's terrific.
20 years is a long time, right?
It's a very long time.
All right. So you've answered question number 2. I always ask how long have you been in your position or field, and
Okay.
20 years, same as I. Let me ask you this question. 20 years, over the 20 years, how do you normally get leads?
Well, because I'm doing this for so long, a lot of it comes from referrals. Either it be a realtor, an accountant, a financial planner, or somebody I did a loan for at one time, and now they have a friend, relative. I actually did a loan for somebody recently that they had done their parents' loan about a dozen years ago, and now they were buying a house.
It's nice when you get to that position or that time that you put in that time, that now your phone rings rather than you starting to go out and knock on doors and constantly looking for those leads. It's nice when you can get to that level.
Right, but I'm still always looking.
No,
always looking.
You have to balance everything.
Yeah,
but it's nice to
absolutely.
have that coming in because that makes things much more stable. But it's a lot of work at the beginning to do all of that stuff. A lot of people don't realize that. So I'm sure in the 20 years, like you just talked about, cold calls versus warm referrals. You've worked both. Tell us what you find different about them.
Well, I mean, cold calling, you can be one of 20 people calling that same person because they went online, filled something out, and requested mortgage information, and that lead company shotguns it out there and sells it to whatever bank is willing to pay for that lead. And then it's really you against the other people that are doing it, and hopefully you click with that particular person, that lead, where they're going to say, I want to go with you. Some people are strictly shopping, what's the rate, what's the rate, what's the rate, and there are other people that actually want to hear what you have to say, and you hope you bond with somebody that's willing to, do some.
And that's
business
cold
with you.
calling the end user, the customer.
Right.
But you also have to do cold calling if you're a loan officer on other fields, whether it's certified financial planners, CPAs, real estate agents, mostly if you're going to be doing purchase business, which is where most loan officers should be. They should have a 80-20 balance in their pipelines of purchase because those will never go away. So you're cold calling a lot of real estate agents also
Absolutely.
Out there, and that could get monotonous after a while too.
You're calling them on the phone. You're stopping in their office. You got to get past that first line of defense, that receptionist,
Yeah, yes.
which is not easy. And a lot of times when you go in there, they may already be working with somebody. There may be actually somebody renting a desk from another bank in there.
Right.
So it's not easy. That cold call on that realtor is very tough, and you can go in a lot of places, and you're going to get a lot of doors shut in your face. So they're going to tell you, leave your pen, leave your pads. Thank you. We'll get back to you if we need you.
All right,
Not
which,
easy.
Which leads us into the next question here. You've worked on my business development platform now probably for a couple of years. Can you explain how the program has worked for you personally?
For me, it's been great. It's really a nice, warm introduction. You're coming to a class. You have the realtors there that are there because some of them are there because they have to get a certain amount of CE credits and they don't have a choice. And others are actually there because they want to learn about more products. The more the realtor knows, the better he's going to be at his job. And our goal is to teach them as much as we can and make ourselves available for them. So hopefully you go into a class, you speak a little, maybe you hit a nerve, maybe you give a scenario or a situation where you help somebody at one time, and they may have a client that is in that same situation. And now hopefully they're going to call you, and also we're going to follow up with them. So it's an unbelievable platform.
Well, for example, we just did a class in Brooklyn for 203K that I had invited you to, and you spoke there. And I know you met a couple of the real estate agents that were there that were one of them or two of them were unassigned already. That's new, first time they've been to the class, and you hit it off with a couple of them without using names. I think you're working on a deal for one gentleman that's retired, right?
Yeah, one of them it's actually a realtor that was working, had a regular 9-to-5 job at a medical facility, retired, and became an agent about 2 years ago. And he needed help on his own property, where he had a 2-family house, couldn't fix up the rental unit, did not have the funds to do it. Knows as soon as he has that money coming in, his cash flow is going to increase, everything's going to get better. And because he came to that 203K class, which he really didn't know anything about the product, we hit it off, and now we're working on trying to get him his own loan.
Yeah, and we actually were talking to him about his age. I don't know, was he close to 62 or a couple of years away? Because we had talked about if he was over 62, there's a possibility reverse mortgage might work for him and everything.
Right.
But it looks like the 203K will be the product
The
for him.
203K is probably going to be the better product only because he just turned 62,
Yeah.
and he has a substantial mortgage on the property now, so the equity doesn't seem like it's there to get everything he needs
Right,
done.
which is all things that the real estate agents will learn, and we're able to teach them through the platform. So awesome.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. What is your favorite thing about this business development platform?
It's really being able to meet these agents in a classroom. You're not just knocking on their door along with 5 other guys that day with rate sheets or pens or whatever it is. You're meeting them face to face in a situation and giving them scenarios, again, that they might be able to relate to. And right away, there could be a relationship right from that first meeting.
And as I talked about in previous filmings, and actually Pam brought this up when I asked her about the platform, she said, I like that 45-minute break where they have lunch, a sponsor brings in the lunch. That's really the time for the loan officers to really shine. If they haven't had a chance, depending on the topic of the class, to not speak about things to the loan officers, that's to the real estate agents, that's a chance for the real estate agents now to talk to you guys or you to talk to them and exchange business cards and make that bond.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I try to get to every class a little early, so if I try to talk to people as they come in. That lunch break when the sponsors take over and they talk about what they offer, and then everything breaks to have a little something to eat. That's a wonderful time, and a lot of times, very rare do I actually get something to eat because usually they're
You shouldn't be eating anyway.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Usually they're coming over and lining up to ask me questions, which is great. You're never going to get that just walking down the street knocking on doors.
And then at the end of the class, and by the way, this is the reason why I don't let them know what questions are coming up, because Pam answered the same way. She says, I come early, I shake hands, I wait for the lunch break, and at the end, you'll notice I shake hands with everybody as they leave, but I always have the loan officers somewhere up in front somewhere, and I'm way in the back, so they'll have a chance to come and you shake their hands. And by you shaking their hands, they get a chance to answer your questions. I see a lot of times you guys go off somewhere and you'll talk privately about whatever deal it is and everything, and they didn't think about asking the question during the class.
Absolutely.
So you have, at the beginning of the class, you're introduced so they know who you are. During the class, depending on the subject matter, you get a chance to actually talk about that. During lunch break, you get to talk to them. And if you're able to be there through the end of the class, you shake hands on the way out. And so you have a number of times that you're able to speak to them.
Right.
And so it becomes a warm meeting, a warm relationship, a warm lead rather than cold calling like you were talking about.
Absolutely. And what you mentioned about the end of the class is so true, because there'll be people that maybe they're a little quiet, maybe they're a little shy. They don't want to ask something in front of the whole class. So when they're leaving, they'll pull me aside and ask me or give me that scenario or whatever it is. And,
Yeah, a lot of thought
it's
went
wonderful.
into designing the class because I come from sales. I was a loan officer when I started and got into the training by accident. But I realized that everything that we do is designed. This is a soft sales approach. We're not beating them over the head. We come, we bring the value, and you guys that do a great job, you get to meet them several times throughout the class and then follow up because we send you the list of the names. You get to follow up, bring them a certificate or, and all those kind of things. So that's really funny that, I've done this 3 or 4 times already, and every loan officer has come up and they don't know what the questions are. They say the same thing. So let me ask you this. Where would you like to see the platform expand?
Well, I love the Realtor platform. It's wonderful. And if we can, we may be moving into other areas, expanding maybe a little north or going a little west or whatever the case is, would be great, because I think that it really brings a lot of benefit to the agents, which in turn will hopefully give us the relationships. I would also love to see it go more into working with the financial planners, with accountants, tax preparation people, CPAs, because they all have clients that can probably use our services.
Right, and we've done over the years, we've done a couple of large classes where they got their CE credits, and that's where we're actually expanding into CPAs and certified financial planners. And over the last year that I've been working aggressively on bringing that on, and that will bring the refinance and the, maybe the, aside from the refinance for the reverse mortgage, those are good for those things. And so you have the purchase market with the agents, and then you have the certified financial planners, CPAs, all those people that need their credits. They're learning some new topics, by the way, because every time that I talk to a CPA company that does some form of training, they go, oh, these are topics we never had before. So I know that once we get locked into there, you'll start coming to those classes, and you'll be meeting them also.
Listen, these are trusted advisors for these homeowners or home buyers. So that's who they're going to go to ask questions. And it would be great if they, most of them don't know the products. I mean, that's just the way it is. I don't know everything about being an accountant or a financial planner, whatever it is. But if we can give them the information that they can pass on to their clients, well, it could work out well for everybody.
Oh, Russ, everybody thinks, oh, you're a doctor, you should know everything. There's people that are doctors that are brain specialists. They don't really know about the heart. They would never do heart surgery. Right. So just because you're a financial planner or certified CPA doesn't mean that you know everything about every topic or subjects out there.
Absolutely.
But it's nice and easy when you train them compared to training the average person or even a real estate agent. Whenever we do a class for them, I can do in 45 minutes what takes 4 hours to do for a real estate agent, because the CPA understands if we're doing a reverse mortgage, we have this, we do this, boom, 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 and they understand exactly, and the light goes on real quick, and
right.
they always tell us, oh, I got 1 or 2 clients that could use your services
Absolutely.
right now, because they had no understanding of how it worked. But it's much easier to work with them because they understand the financing behind it.
Absolutely.
So question number 8, have you developed any long-term relationships at this point from the platform? Any real estate agents that you've actually worked with a couple of times?
Yeah, absolutely. There's
No names.
There's a handful of agents that I've met at these classes that now I've become their go-to person, which is great. So I may get a call on a Saturday when they're showing somebody houses, or at night they just came back from a showing, or they have a client that wants to go out and look at houses, but they don't want to spend the time with them because they want me to first pre-approve them. So yeah, it's a great.
So you're not only getting those first time, let me give them the junkie loan, the loan that I couldn't do, which whenever you're working with a real estate agent for the first time, they always test you with a couple of these crappy deals that maybe they went to 5 other places and couldn't get done to see what you will do. You're past that on a lot of these people that they're actually calling you. And I know that for a fact because I see some of the emails that come by. By the way, there were times, I think, over the course of the past couple of years, would you say it's fair that I've sent you 3 people to do loans on? Would that be a fair number? 2,
At least. No, I would
5,
say
4?
between 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I would say
maybe.
we're right about that. That somebody will contact me from the platform because I'm the trainer, and I don't even give out my information. It's very rare that I'll give out my information for a very specific reason. The reason is that I don't want them calling me. I need them to call you guys as the loan officers,
Right.
and so I've transferred those over to you. Of course, I have a lot of loan officers on the platform, so I'll divvy it up among those loan officers. But you've been able to. I've gotten good feedback from some of the real estate agents
Nice.
that, hey, I spoke to Russ. Russ is taking care of it. And again, I see the emails that come back and forth. So
It's good to
So
hear.
you've been doing a great job.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this question. You've been 20 years in the business like myself. As we head into 2019, where do you see the mortgage business heading?
Well, I mean, guidelines are always changing. New products keep coming out on the market. So it's really important as they come in. I'll study those rules and be ready for them. But guidelines in some cases are loosening up, and there's going to be more ways to get people approved. And listen, purchase business is always going to be there. People always need a place to live. Even if rates go up, people have to buy a house. So that business is always going to be there. And then people will also, right now, there's a boom coming on with people that want to take cash out. Because the market has gotten so crazy and the prices of houses are so high, a lot of people are saying, you know what, instead of moving, I'm going to take some money out of my house and maybe I'm going to add on, I'm going to dormer, or I'm going to add on something, I'm going to make it bigger or add a bathroom so we could stay there. So I think the cash out refinance business is going to make a nice comeback as well.
Which is not really 100% cash out, because in the old days, cash out was I'm paying off credit cards or I'm using that money for a vacation. They're actually putting it back into the house, making their house more valuable,
Right.
so which is a nice thing. So
Absolutely.
All right, so last question will be a kind of a fun question. This will be the last one. So tell us anything you want about yourself, such as your favorite way to relax, or maybe something that you're talented at that most people don't know about you.
That's a great question. Well, I would say to relax, I really like to spend time with my family. Just getting away, whether it's at the beach, going out east, going upstate, like we were this weekend. We took the kids apple picking, actually. So anytime I can get away, it's great. By myself, I would say my son got me into it. I started doing a little surfing because my son's a surfer. So him and his friends, which was pretty funny, but they were giving me lessons over the summer, trying to teach me to surf. And I also bought myself a stand-up paddleboard. So I've been doing that as well.
Which is not easy.
I love being on the water and just, just chilling out, playing a little music and paddling around in the bay by us. So
Cool.
it's great.
Well, I do know you like to take vacations, because there's a lot of times that people will call me and they say, "Hey, where's Russ?" and you're away. And what I do like about you is you will answer your phone. You will always get back to a real estate agent and everything like that. So even though you're on vacation, and it's a hard thing to do because we live in an environment where real estate agents and loan officers, you're pretty much on the go all the time and everything like that. And look, you go out to breakfast in the morning, you shut your phone off, you go do. But as long as you get back to somebody within 24 hours, so whether it's nighttime or the next morning, to make calls at 8 o'clock in the morning before the family is out, you're out doing, you always get back. And I know that a lot of the real estate agents appreciate that. And that's one of the reasons why I have you on the platform, is because you take care of business. You know how to separate, go on, you live life, you have fun with your family, you enjoy your time, but you always take care of what happens with the real estate agent. So
It's a big part of what we do. You don't get back to them.
you might as well just close up shop. You won't
Exactly.
have a
I was a
business.
real estate agent for years before I got into the mortgage business, so I know how important that is.
Yeah, so you know both sides of it. So with that said, I want to say thank you very much to Russ Silver.
Thank you.
It's been a
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
And